Good morning, everybody. This is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and today we are going to learn how to vacuum seal pre-made baking mixes. Come on along and see what we can learn together. Lately, I've been receiving a lot of questions on how exactly to preserve your baking mixes so that they stay fresh longer and keep the pests out. And so today we are going to focus solely on how to vacuum seal pre-packaged baking mixes. If you are new to vacuum sealing, there are some things that you will need to have in order to vacuum seal. So the first thing, I always vacuum seal in jars. Now you can vacuum seal in Mylar, but you know what? That won't stop a mouse from chewing on it and destroying your food. I prefer glass jars. I can see what's in them. I can put them on the shelf. I know if I have rice galore, if I can see it up on my shelf, but if it's in a bucket, I tend to forget it's even there. You're going to need some type of vacuum sealer. Now, this is my old standby. I've been using this one for years. It is Food Saver, and it has the special jar attachment so that I can use this to vacuum seal. Now, lately, I've been using my little handheld one, and this has really changed a lot of what I'm doing. I'm extremely excited about this one, mainly because of the convenience. I can just keep this on my shelf, keep it charged, pop it on, and seal something in just a matter of seconds. And so I really enjoy this. There are other methods to vacuum seal, and in the next couple weeks, I am going to do a video just on the different ways to vacuum seal. To use either one of these vacuum sealers, you're going to need the special jar attachments, and these did not come with either of those sealers. And so I purchased these online through Amazon. They were not that expensive. This one is for wide mouth jars, and this one is for regular mouth. I almost exclusively use wide mouth jars to do my vacuum sealing because I can use the lids over and over, and wide mouth lids cost more. So I save the regular mouth for canning and the wide mouth for vacuum sealing. So makes perfect sense to me. I'm not sure if I'm saying it well though. You're going to need flats that go on top of the jar. They look like this. These are the wide mouth ones. And as I said, I can use these over and over when I vacuum seal. When I can only use them one time. And you're going to need the rings to attach to the jars. Now, if you are buying a new case of jars, they're going to include the rings and the flats. And so you will be all set just by having those items. Before you even get to the point of vacuum sealing, you want to wash every single jar and make sure it's completely dry. You do not want any moisture in that jar, or it could go to your dried foods. The items that I'm vacuum sealing today are going to fit in wide mouth quart, wide mouth pint, and then I have some wide mouth half pint, which are one of my absolute favorite sizes. They're by Kerr. They can be challenging to find. I actually purchased these at Walmart. And a few miscellaneous tools. You're going to need a Sharpie to write on a lid, a pair of scissors, and today I'm going to break out a paper punch. Interesting. We touched on this briefly, but why do I vacuum seal? I vacuum seal to preserve the foods. That way, it's going to keep the pests out, whether we're talking rodents or we're talking insects. It's going to extend the date that a product is going to last. I was trying to find the date on this one. There it is. This one says it's good until September 28th, 2024. I add a year to that as a general rule. I can go past that year. I've gone 2 years. I've even gone 3 years. But I know without a doubt, if I vacuum seal this, let's see, it's a cookie mix, it will last at least a year beyond the expiration date. And let me tell you, it's not an expiration date. It even says the words best buy. That means that they guarantee that it will be the best product they offer if you use it by September 2024. Another reason that I like to vacuum seal in jars is that I store those jars on a shelf in my pantry. They are not taking up room in my kitchen. I can easily see what I have, and I can rotate my stock. Let's get started. And the system that I'm using is just slightly different than other ways that I have vacuum sealed. And what I mean is I have some of the best subscribers. And each time I post a vacuum sealing video, I am given tons and tons of suggestions and ideas. Some of them are amazing. Some of them I'm like, oh, okay. But I have taken some of these little tidbits and I am going to show you today how you can always improve, how you can always learn and take it up a notch. And that's what we're going to do today. The first one I'm going to vacuum seal is dark chocolate chip cookie mix. And as you can see, it is simply one package all prepared. Now, in the past, I would have taken this and I would have put it down into my jar and I would have vacuum sealed. But my subscribers pointed out something very important. If you look at this package, there is air in that package. It is not vacuum sealed. Now, some things that you buy are vacuum sealed. This one is not. If I put that into my jar and I suck out all the air through vacuum sealing, it's not going to remove the air from the package because the package is sealed with air in it. So you need to take a new step to make sure that all the air is removed. That step is to poke a hole into the packaging. This hole does not have to be huge. I'm just using a paper punch and going through and making one little hole. That's all you need. If you look closely, you can actually see the hole through both ends of the package. But the way I know, if I squeeze this now, there's no pocket of air. So I know I have put a hole into that bag, which is exactly what I wanted to do. I could take it out of this packaging, but honestly, it's a little bit neater. It's easy. So I am going to take this entire package and push it down into my jar. Just like that. Before I seal it, I am going to take the directions and I'm going to put that inside the jar so that I have them. Now, you might want more information. I don't need all the information that is given on the box. If I want the nutritional information, how many servings, how many calories, I could cut that strip off. The ingredients, I am a major label reader, so I know the ingredients that are in this product. And if I want another recipe, I could attach that as well. But today, all I need are the directions. Please don't forget that step, or you're not going to know how to make your cookies or your brownie or your puddings. I slip them right inside my jar. And that's another thing. A lot of subscribers say, oh, I'm not going to put that in the jar. It's dirty. Well, my item is still in the plastic wrap. And so I have no problem putting it in there. My greater fear is that if I attach it on the outside with a rubber band, I would lose those instructions. So for me, I stick it inside. If you don't like that, you can attach it on the outside with a rubber band. When I do loose powders, I put a paper towel on top of here to make sure that none of that powder comes out. But we have such a tiny little hole in that bag and we still have that that bag blocking it. So I am confident that none of the powder is going to go into my machine. The next step, I'm going to place my flat on top and then I'm going to get my jar sealer and push it on top of that. There, until it's on completely tight. For this jar, I'm going to use my big food saver, and so I'm going to take the plug and push it into the hole on the top, nice and tight. Then turn on my machine and push accessory. All right, and I don't know if you heard that little click. That tells me that the lid popped, which means it's sealed. All right, and you're going to take the sealer off and you're going to check the seal. That's what I was talking about. There's a little indent, so I know that the lid has sunken down in it. I'm still going to pull on it. I'm going to shake it. I'm going to push, but that lid is not coming off. That jar is sealed. The next step is to put the ring on it, tighten it up, and the last thing I'm going to do is right on the top, the date. You need to choose if you want to put the expiration date or today's date. Since the expiration dates change, I put the expiration date on top. Just like that. I can look at it and I know when it's going to expire. If I want to go until 2025, 2026, that is fine. But I know when the product was Best Buy. Next, I'm moving on to the apple crisp mix, and in there again we have one bag that is sealed, and same thing, it's got an air pocket in there, so I'm going to punch a hole in first. The plastic packaging on this was a little bit thicker, so it was much easier to poke that hole through. This one goes into my pint jar. Oh, fits very nicely. And next thing is to cut off the label. This one I'm going to fold over the directions because it's pretty big. It's telling you what you need, and then they have oven directions, microwave, tasty variations. So I'm going to keep the whole panel from the box. This one is ready to seal, but I want to show you I'm using a used lid. I had used this one before for creamy corn chowder soup mix, and it has a little mark where I opened it, but it did not break through. So I am going to recycle and use the same lid I've used in the past. I'm going to place the jar sealer on top until it snaps. This time I'm going to use my handheld one so you can see the difference between the two. To use the handheld one, you do not need to have the tubing that goes from the machine into the lid. So instead, that piece down the bottom goes right into the top. Push it down hard and turn on. And that is it. This one is so super fast. Once the light's off, I can remove it. Hear the pop. And take off the lid and test the seal. And even with that little indent where I had opened it before, this seal is solid. It is sunk in the middle. It is not coming off on the side. So all I need to do is put a ring on it and the date. Next is pudding mix. Again, you can tell there's air in that packet. So I'm going to poke the hole in, and I'm just going to go ahead and vacuum seal it. This box had two separate packages in it, so I poked holes in each of them, and I'm going to put them both in the same jar with the instructions. The remaining mixes are the standard plastic bag inside holding the product. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to vacuum seal all the rest of these jars and be right back with you. I forgot that these include the syrup. And so the syrup is a little different. It is already in a packet. It is sealed. Do not poke a hole in that. You will have a big hot mess. So this stays just the way it is. We're only talking about the dry products that you need to poke the hole in to suck the air out. So let me show you how we package this one. I placed the directions in first. This is just so I can see the label of which one it is. It is the milk chocolate, ultimate chocolate brownie mix. Now, I am just going to put in that aluminum foil packet. Oops, I want it behind the label. And in the center there, I'm going to place the mix. All right, I turned the mix lengthwise, covered up the hole that's at the top. That way I can fit it all in there without any problem. So everything is in the jar. Now I just have to seal it. And there you have it, 9 baking mixes that are now vacuum sealed. They are easy to see what the contents are in them, and they are now preserved to last longer on your shelf. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. It helps me to keep this channel growing and to reach more people, and I appreciate your business so very much. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye. When you're on a roll, it's just too hard to stop. There you go, 15 jars of baking mix, all sealed and ready for the pantry.